Hello everyone, my name is Havian and today I'm going to be showing you how I got all of my weapon masteries to 1000 in Sword Art Online Alicization Lycoris. Last week I didn't have much time to play, so this week I've been doing a bit of catch up. I'm done with the main story now, but one thing I wanted to do before finishing the story was get all of my weapon masteries to 1000. And for those of you that follow me on Twitter, you already know this since I was keeping you updated on my progress over the weekend. Since quite a few of you did ask me what I did to level my proficiencies, I'm going to show you what I did to get it done. But I want to make this clear, in order to play the game normally, there's no reason to rush to get your weapon proficiencies to 1000. There are benefits like increased attack and accuracy the higher it is, and you can unlock some sword skills once you get 500 proficiency with a weapon. But a weapon's proficiency will steadily increase if you continuously use weapons from that category, so it's not something you really need to go out of your way for. A weapon's proficiency has a chance of increasing when you hit an enemy with an attack, so the more hits you do, the faster your proficiency is likely to increase. But the higher your weapon mastery gets, the less proficiency you'll start to get per hit. But I will say, if your intention is to go out of your way to get all weapon masteries to 1000, the earlier in the game you start grinding proficiency, the easier things will be in the long run. That's because your party members' proficiency will still be low, and there is a way you can use them to boost your own mastery levels. I'm not sure if it's intended, but Kirito gains the same amount of proficiency as any other character that you're currently controlling. So if you're playing as Lifa and then you gain 300 proficiency in one-handed swords while controlling her, Kirito will also gain 300 proficiency in one-handed swords on top of what he already has. So the reason you'll be using other party members to boost your own proficiency is because while controlling them, you can stack their proficiency growth on top of your own, and the lower their proficiency is, the faster this can happen. This is still happening as of patch 1.03, but since I'm not sure if this is intentional, there's always the possibility that this could change in later updates. When leveling proficiency, I would recommend using Kirito solo until you hit around 300 proficiency with your selected weapon, and if you're going out of your way to get proficiency, this shouldn't take long to do. If you feel like you can push him to a higher proficiency level, it will help more in the long run, especially for weapons like whips that only a few characters can use, so feel free to take him to a higher level if you want to. Once you reach your desired proficiency level with Kirito, or if your proficiency gain starts to slow down significantly, add another character to the party that can use the weapon type that you want to level, but just make sure their proficiency level is lower than Kirito's. Switch to that character and attack enemies with them. This will increase their proficiency, and because of the way things currently work, it will also boost Kirito's too. Then once that character's proficiency gain starts to slow down, remove them from the party and replace them with another character, and then repeat the process until that weapon type reaches 1000 proficiency. This is something you can do for all weapon types apart from Dual Wield, since that weapon type is exclusive to Kirito. So for Dual Wield, you're going to have to do things the old-fashioned way and find yourself a good target enemy and just grind away. The enemy you choose to level proficiency on is important if you want to have the least amount of interruptions. If you haven't reached around chapter 3 in the story yet, then good targets are enemies around your level or slightly higher that will attack you slowly like crabs. I did try fighting enemies that were much higher level than me in hard mode, but it didn't really seem like this made too much of a difference to proficiency gain. But feel free to experiment and find enemies that work best for you. If you have reached, I think it's chapter 3, then eventually you'll be able to fight an enemy type called the Calamity Plant Cluster that's invincible until you defeat certain enemies within the same area. These are perfect targets since they can't die and they don't attack you, but your proficiency still increases on them when a hit connects. They're usually guarded by enemies, so just kill those and you should be good to go. When attacking your target, you need to find a way to do the most number of hits to an enemy in the shortest amount of time, and just hope that each hit increases your proficiency. If you're fighting normal enemies, then you'll need to pay attention to what you're doing and evade when necessary. I avoided using sword skills on normal enemies since I wanted to keep them alive for as long as possible. So I relied on normal attacks with the combo finisher removed, and I used guard to cancel the longer parts of a weapon's attack animation. Depending on the weapon type you're using, this can make things go much faster, especially if you cancel after the first hit when using one-handed swords and rapiers. You attack so fast with those weapons when you do this that the enemies are constantly staggered, so it can make it easy to gain proficiency with the faster weapon types. Since Calamity Plant clusters are invincible and don't fight back, if you're using them to grind, you can be a bit more lazy, since going out of your way to grind proficiency is going to be boring, especially with Dual Wield. So experiment with the skills you have available to see if you have any that can increase your attack speed. Pick a combo finisher that has a quick animation and then just spam the attack button while watching something to distract yourself from what you're doing. Just remember to save every now and then so you don't lose any progress for any reason. To put things in perspective, this weekend was the first time I started watching the JoJo anime, and I managed to finish the whole first season in the time it took me to get just Dual Wield to 1000. That's 26 episodes. So like I said earlier, just find some way to distract yourself, since proficiency grinding is definitely not going to be for everyone. But it is nice to have the attack and accuracy bonuses, and it's nice to have it out of the way so you don't need to think about it anymore. Before the recent update, there was a bug that caused your party members' proficiencies to reset when you remove them from your party. So that ended up making leveling most weapons much easier than it should be. But I guess since I'm a masochist, I'm doing it all again on the PS4 version after the most recent update that fixed that. Mainly so I can start doing multiplayer sessions with you guys once I start streaming again. So I guess I'll see firsthand what it's like to level proficiency before and after the recent update. I post smaller gameplay clips and news updates over on Twitter between the videos that I make. So if you want to see some of those, I'll put the link to it in the description, so you can head over there and follow if you want to stay up to date with everything I'm doing. If you want to see any of my other gameplay videos that I make for Sword Art Online or action RPGs, then don't forget to subscribe and remember to click the bell so you'll be the first to know when a new video is available. I'll be making some new videos very soon, but until I make those videos, I'll see you all later.